This is the tram stop at Burke Street and Elizabeth Street, and very late on Wednesday 16th of January, Palestinian 21-year-old student Aya Masawi hopped on the tram right here. She jumped on the 86 tram that heads up to Bundoora, and she got off towards the end of the line and was going to walk home, but unfortunately she never made it. She was found the following morning about 150 metres from the tram stop, and I've been there and you just can't believe how close it is. While this forever links the 86 tram to Aya's fate, that's not what I want to focus on with this special episode. There was an amazing outpouring of support by the Melbourne public to Aya's father and the rest of her family, and they showed their appreciation for that. Okay, so today I'm up at State Parliament House, and unfortunately I'm not here for a good thing. I've been here for a number of times. We've had a number of protests up here that I've featured on my channel, but unfortunately tonight is actually a bit of a sad occurrence. Unfortunately, right behind me is where the 86 tram cruises up through Burke Street, and then it heads up towards Bundoora. And a couple of nights ago, Aya Masawi was travelling home after having a entertaining night out, as you know everyone's entitled to, but tragically she never arrived home. And this again highlights that while there's a lot of good things about Melbourne, there is there's, like every city around the world, we do have our things that go wrong, and unfortunately, we do have people that are murdered. And I think it's a really big issue. I mean, personal safety for everyone, not just women, but everyone, is a really big concern. I think it's difficult to sort of put your finger on, how you stop this sort of thing. I think it's very complex, but again, it's really sad when someone who's just been out having a great night out doesn't make it home. I mean, I have to walk home quite often from the train station. It's about 1.5 k's from home, and that's a difficult thing for me to consider. The other night I did it, and it makes me think, damn, it could happen to any of us, unfortunately. So, but sadly, it's there's been a number of these over the last few years, and just hope that one day we can look back and say we haven't had this sort of thing happen for a very long time. But sadly, once again, Melbourne's in a little bit of mourning over this. Tonight, right here, there's actually going to be a silent vigil. I'd suggest they're going to get quite a number of people here, and then a lot of people are actually going to hop on the 86 tram and actually travel up to Bundoora, where there's a bit of a memorial set up. So a bit of a solemn occasion here, like I say, not the not the normal type of thing I come up and cover, and I've certainly ummed and ahed as to whether I should cover this thing, but I think it's important to highlight these sorts of things, and we need to just try and do better. As a society, I think we need to care for each other. We need to try and look after each other. Unfortunately, that's why we have law enforcement. I mean, we need them to look after everyone. So it's going to be a very interesting night tonight. We'll just see how many people they get. As you can see, we've had a really good turnout. It's sad that we have to get together for this, but there's a massive turnout of people behind me and it's a bit of a somber mood. Also, Aya's father just arrived and he was swamped by the media. Not a good thing that we have to get together for. We should have better things to get together, but it's good to see that there's so many people out here just, you know, just to respect the fact that this young girl, I mean, she was 21 years old and she had so much going on. You know, she would have had a really good life, but unfortunately, you know, this is really bad. So anyway, it's yeah, it's a bit sad, and also looks like my battery's a bit sad as well. I've got to change it. All right.
So here we have coming on Monday night. I'll go to Ray.
Yeah. Just carefully, we don't want to squash all the flowers. Keep coming.
We are now leaving the free tram zone. Please ensure you have touched on your liking.
Working all day, it's the only time you've got, and it's winter, you know.
The next stop.
Tram driving over.
Watch out. There we go. We're good.
I got it.
Thank you. Sort of in the middle, like in between the flowers away from it.
So at this point, we've concluded the vigil at Parliament House, and including heading up on the tram up to Bundoora. There was a bit of a interesting time that on the Friday night, and then on the Sunday we actually went back and there was a bigger memorial service there for AYA, and that's what I'm about to. That's what's coming up in the second half of the episode. Just a couple of things to clear up at this point. Firstly, I'd like to apologise for some of the scratchy audio that's come through. There's been some clicks and scratches. I've tried to eliminate most of them, but sometimes they're over the top of something that's fairly important, and it's either you delete everything so you've got no audio at all, but I think sometimes leaving it, even if it is a bit scratchy, sometimes it helps convey exactly what was going on or the message. And so I think it's better the way it is, although it's not, you know, a high standard that I would normally like on my episodes. Some of this is also difficult because when I'm doing stuff like this, for instance, if I find something's wrong, well, I can always do another take. Some of this stuff you're talking about, you've got one shot and that's it. Audio is also a little bit scratchy at the start of what you're about to see. There's a bit of a prayer service. Myself and the other media cameramen were all out of position. I'm not being critical, but nobody said, hey, this is about to start. So we found ourselves some 20 odd feet away, absolutely stretching my microphones to the limit. I mean, this far exceeds what they're meant to handle. You can't expect a shotgun mic to work at 20 odd feet just with someone talking. The fact I got any audio is amazing, and so I've left a lot of what I could leave. Again, just to convey the message and let people understand what was going on at the time, and try to accurately represent what was happening. But that audio is yeah, I'm amazed I got anything. Just another thing, in the timeline of these events, initial reports by the mainstream media, based on police reports, was that Aya's name was AYA. However, sometime later this was corrected by the family, and it was suggested that this needed to change to AYA to more accurately represent her heritage and cultural background and Palestinian background. While I've corrected this in the opening and ending titles, some of the cards and posters and things like that were left at the vigil at Parliament House and also up at Bundoora had the 4-letter spelling, so the AYA. You can't blame people for this. I mean, they're working off the same information that we all work off. The media were caught out with this as well. I believe that the police report that came out was that they got her name off her passport, but then the family want it changed. Again, I'm not being critical of them either, but it just explains why in my titles I've got AYA, and in some of the letters that you'll see, and I've got some close-ups, it's got the 4-letter spelling. And again, all round, no one's made any mistakes, but that just explains why there's a discrepancy. And I can't, I'm not going to go changing what's on a letter. I mean, add visual effects and things like that. I'm not going to do that. So it is what it is. That's what was there, and I can only record what's there. I also hope that people don't take it as in any way disrespectful that I didn't go to the memorial service down at the mosque at Dandenong. The simple fact of the matter is I didn't find out about it. I was actually at a mate's place in the city and saw it on the news, and they talked about this is what was happening. Very, very tricky when I'm in the CBD and I've got to trundle down on a train. I don't have a vehicle at the moment, so I've got to travel on public transport. So I simply couldn't have got there. So, you know, I can only get to the things I can get to. Also, I believe there was another small thing or something else at Bundoora. And again, I didn't find out about that until too late. I don't have a huge resource team behind me to track these things down. I'm you know, one-man operation, and I can only know about the things that I get to know about. So that was also tricky. But what I do think I've produced is pretty good, because we've got the Vigil at Parliament House, and that's certainly where the 86 tram trundles past, and I would have gone right past that on the night she headed out to Bundoora. The fact that we've got the memorial out at Bundoora, I think, wraps things up nicely. Her father was there and other members of the family, so I think that ties it in nicely. So that just explains some of the little idiosyncrasies that have gone on with this episode, and again, in no way out trying to be disrespectful or anything like that, just trying to accurately portray what went on. What did go on is that on the Sunday, 2 nights after the Vigil at Parliament House, there was a fairly decent gathering of people, including her father and family, and here's what happened out there.
Down by the river, way down, far in ahead, there's a field.
Right behind me is where AYA was murdered, and as you can see, it's really close to the tram stop, and I think this is a real big issue because, you know, we need to get home really safely. And
Aya state that you see, the integration and into that, with the faith if we want to, and show our respect for those guys. So don't mind waiting for a bit longer to do those.
Thanks everyone, really appreciate you coming. Thank you.
Thank you.
Behalf of the Palestinians, thanks a lot for your donors, for your support. We're standing here today with Aya. Aya was a Palestinian. Aya was a Muslim. And for that we are now standing here supporting her. And I'll be doing a Quranic recitation so that she will be rewarded as the Holy Prophet, the Messenger of God, Muhammad, told us that when someone recite the Quran for his soul, that will benefit him. And that would reduce the tribulation and the hard times that her family is going through. She was not an Israeli, she was not an Israeli Arab, she was a Palestinian Muslim again. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين اثنين فكذبوهما فعززنا بثالث فقالوا إنا إليكم مرسلون قالوا ما أنتم إلا بشر مثلنا وما أنزل الرحمن من شيء إن أنتم إلا تكذبون قالوا ربنا يعلم إنا إليكم إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له فيكون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون. Yes, for our Lord compassion, for the old mercy, accept this recitation for Allah, and to forgive her, and to have mercy upon her, and to admit her amongst the sincere. Amen.
Hello everyone, thank you for coming. My name is Surya. I represent the Just carry a simple message to you. Aya is our daughter, our sister, your daughter, she is your sister. As all the victims, all the unfortunate ladies that get murdered behind doors or in public space. This is appalling. It shouldn't happen to anyone. We all have daughters and have a daughter. I have a wife. I don't know what to say really, but this should stop. There must be something to stop it. We can't keep going. We have about one murder every week. Well, that's a shame. The other message I want to say to you is that the family of Aya in Baq al-Harriya in Palestine, where she comes from, they are all overwhelmed by the support of the two beautiful Melbournians that carry the true Melbourne spirit of the community. Regardless of what we believe in, we are all brothers and sisters. Our blood is red. Doesn't matter what color we are. We all ache, we all have pain, we all have agony. We all feel. I'll speak for Aya's village. The amount of messages that I have received thanking the people of Melbourne for standing with their family, with their clients, with their family before. It's so overwhelming. They are really, really appreciative of everything that you guys have been doing since this tragic incident took place. Thank you very much. On behalf of Aya, on behalf of Aya's family, the father is way now present here at this as well. And on behalf of the Palestinian community of Victoria and the Palestinian community of Australia, and the whole of Palestine, we thank you very much for your support. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
the word Arabic. We're going to make the dua in Arabic. So we want you to say Amin after that. اللهم لك الحمد والشكر كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك. اللهم لك الحمد والشكر كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى اله وصحبه وسلم. اللهم اغفر لنا وارحمنا. اللهم اغفر لنا وارحمنا. الله فيك انشدها الناس. اللهم امين. اللهم اغفر لها وارحمها وعافها واعف عنها ووسع مدخلها وارحمها برحمتك يا ارحم الراحمين. اللهم اجعل قبرها روضة من رياض الجنة. لها الله سبحانه وتعالى من الليل قاطر والجنة. اللهم وسع مدخلها وارحمها برحمتك يا رب العالمين. اللهم خفف عنها من سؤالها ونحن إجابتها برحمتك يا ارحم الراحمين.
Beautiful views. I will. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah, I see. Thank you very much. Sharif, I want to say something here. I want to appreciate all the people here for what you do for us. And I hope no one have this one like what we have. And we want to say, want to send a message from Aya for peace and for a good future for all the human, and for happy and safe world for the people anywhere in the world. I appreciate everyone here come to support us and to be with us for Aya. I hope you don't forget Aya. And we hope all of you to be in the light, not in the dark, and for peace, and for good future, for all, and for your kids, and for your child. I don't wish for anyone, even my enemy, to pass what we pass. I don't know, I don't have words to appreciate all, or how to appreciate all. I am sorry, also my English is not my mother language. I try to talk from the heart more. Thank you very much. I don't have word how to appreciate all what you have to. Really, what I see here. From you.
I can speak for him. This is my uncle. She was my cousin, and it's very, very devastating what happened. Just by coming here, I just arrived a few hours ago from New York, and the amount of support and all these people here, it's incredible. It's amazing. Thank you so much for all you guys, for the support, for all the flowers, for the cards, for feeling with us. This pain, it's very painful, it's very devastating, but to have all this support and the community and everybody, it's very good. It makes the feeling a little bit less difficult. Everybody deserves the right to get home safe. Everybody. was an amazing person. She was nice. She would never hurt a fly. She was unbelievable, positive, full of life, full of energy, full of emotions, very adventurous, very smart. She spoke Arabic, Hebrew, Mandarin. She was an unbelievable young girl, and for this to happen is so devastating, so horrific. But again, thank you everybody here for the support and for all the flowers and everything, and we hope one day, you know, there would be a structure here as a memorial dedicated for her and for her life. And you know, we hope the community will be in support of that as well.
We have been collecting those things. My name is Asil, and I haven't met Uncle Abu Noor before, and I just heard from friends about Aya back home, and I have been talking to the family, and I just really need to let you know that this, like, it's not just words what they're saying. It's really deep. Like, really back home, really feel it. I feel like I'm really proud. I'm Palestinian too. I have been here 5 years, and Palestine is my home. But I really feel proud of my second home here. You guys make me very proud. When my dad said to me, "I feel it's very unsafe, come back," I said, no. One accident doesn't mean that this place. There's lots to be proud about this place. And Noor, Aya's eldest sister, just said to me yesterday that with all the pain that she is in, seeing people like you and your support and your messages, like, the love is just, it's getting to their hearts, and I'm really happy to say that to you, just because with all the pain and the sadness, I know that you get there, and your voices and your messages and your, like, we send them all the photos of your flowers and your, like, letters that you write, and that's just all the way to Palestine, and that's just really ease on the family. And please just keep spreading the word. And yes, Sharif, I met Sharif maybe an hour ago, and he said that this is the next thing. He really wants a memorial to make sure no one else have this. A memorial maybe with lots of lights, so no girl can be not heard. Maybe a memorial that have speakers that every shot this she says can be heard around, so no one other than Aya have this destiny anymore. So I really have it again, and I will really do everything I can to make sure that this memorial happen. And of course, people of Bundoora, I would really you all would really appreciate your support in making that happen.
ممكن تفهميهم ان احنا نتامل انه يبقى نور بالناس وعند الناس ومستقبل احسن، مش الحقد والكراهيه تبقى البوصله تبعت الناس، الا الحب والتسامح والنور ومستقبل افضل.
You know, evidently what's happened has happened, and it's really devastating. But
go louder.
Whatever happened is happened, and it's very devastating. However, we shouldn't put too much focus on how horrific or sad and violent it was. We should really put focus on, how she was as a person, that she was full of life, full of energy, very happy, very positive. And that's the emotion we want to continue to live on. Her body might not be living, but her voice can continue to live. A voice of peace, a voice of happiness, a voice full of energy and spontaneity. And that's what we want as a family. For that to continue, and not too much focus on the tragedy and the horrificness of the act, and then the sadness of it all. So it's very important we commemorate her life and the positivity of her life and her energy. nice heading.
For 10 years in a place, and like I know all the whole village, but when I moved here, like I just don't know my neighbor, and my neighbor never came to me. They never say, see if I'm in the next room. It took a long time to find Aya's body because of that, because no one really, I have no family. I'm raising my daughter by myself, and I don't know the neighbor from next door or the other one. I've tried, but people live really individually. They only care about themselves and who's inside the room. And obviously you are showing that you don't, because you're standing here with a stranger, and she could be not a stranger if we stand with her before, if she knows there is people around her supporting her. So Aya have left us, unfortunately, but there's lots of Ayas around, and there's lots of people who come here from around the world, and they need our help, Australians. They need our support, but they never have it. So I really know that we have the heart, and I really know that people always...
Love all of you. Our heart and our home for anyone. Good feeling to see like this way. This is my info.
Yeah, I'm
just
her
now.
cousin. This is my uncle. I just arrived from New York just a couple of hours ago. And to see the amount of flowers and cards and people here that are feeling for us and the whole family, it's incredible. I never expected that. So it's great. It's the first time I'm here in Australia, and so I have a great impression so far of the Australian people and how much support they've given this horrific. Yes, everyone deserves to, they have the right to get home safe, no matter where they are, no matter how late they're going out, whatever it may be. Nobody deserves to go like that. Yeah, everybody deserves to be safe, especially kids. It's really just terrible what happened. But again, we as a family, we want to keep in mind two things. Number one, that even though she's not with us anymore, but her voice continues to live on, and it's a voice of love and peace and happiness and joy for life. And we don't want this incident to be remembered by how horrific or how terrible it was, but we want to have this feeling of love and peace and energy, because that's how she was as a person, and it's important for that to continue and not to remember the sadness or the horrible act how it was done. And and all our family, all our extended family are all in Palestine right now. They see all of this, what's happening, and they're very appreciative, very grateful for all that the community has done, with the flowers, with the cards, of being physically here present. It's incredible. It's incredible. And with that, it's great support, great emotional support through this extremely difficult time.
We hope tomorrow we can finish, and the day after tomorrow we can move back with my daughter Aya, to be with all the family together again.
Yes, we're currently working on that to take the body, and hopefully we'll be on a flight some Tuesday, Wednesday, and go back home to Palestine and have, proper burial and funeral and entire procedure. But again, we want this voice of love and energy and happiness to live on, and we don't want this to be associated with any type of hate, anger, or anything like that, because we as a family, we don't have any hatred, we don't have any anger, we just have love, and we just have peace and happiness, and that's what we want to continue to live on, so it's very important. Oh, my name is Sharif, by the way. It's S-H-A-R-E-F. Masar was saying, yeah.
Say the memorial that was suggested, what would you think of that? Having a permanent memorial for Aya?
Yeah, we definitely.
شو بدك عندك فكرة بتأمل إنهم يعملوا. I wish you can do this and the people can remember Aya. Don't forget Aya and don't forget Smile Aya and don't forget the message we and Aya we want to send to here to the people, to the society. Send message for love, for peace, for light, not dark, for good future. شو أنا حكي دكتور؟
No grudges, no hate.
Yes. This is the message what we want to send here in Melbourne, in Australia, and all over the world. To be loved, to make the world is not black and white, colorful. And this is make the life and the world is more nice and more beautiful. Believe me. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Very much. I'm sorry.
I'm a very good friend of yours.
I appreciate it. Really, I'm sorry. It's just very, very busy. Thank you very much. Yes.
Well, it's basically wrapped up here at the site where Aya's body was found. It's been a really interesting afternoon. The family appreciated all the support they got from the local community and people across Melbourne, and they've basically said that it'd be really good to have a memorial placed here, and I'm pretty sure there will be a permanent memorial placed in the not too distant future, just as a mark of respect. And I just think that one of the issues to come out of this is the fact that personal safety is a priority for everyone, and we need to look after everyone. And unfortunately, the world is a dangerous place. Australia is a part of that, and apart from, you know, the snakes and spiders and sharks and everything else that are trying to take us out, unfortunately, like other parts of the world, we do have you know, bad people that do bad things, and that's an issue for the justice system, the mental health system. We need to try and do better. We need to try and help those people before they get to this point and commit crimes like this. We need to certainly provide support to those that have got battling mental health issues, you know, drug addictions, things like that. But just in general, society needs to do better. We need to be smarter. We need to make sure we look after each other. And it may just be that you know, things like, you know, this unfortunately may might come to things like this that'll trigger that social change and allow, you know, this sort of thing not to happen again. Unfortunately, I'd love to say it won't happen again, but I'm pretty sure unfortunately it will. But we just got to try and do better, and that's really the message we want to come out of this. We've got to, you know, we can't. It's great to come together and support the family, but really what we need to do is try and put the mechanisms in place that just, you know, stop this sort of thing from happening. And it's going to be very difficult, but that's what, you know, as a society we've got to look at. We've got to look at the difficult things and try and change some of the violent aspects that are in our community. And we've made great strides in terms of domestic violence, but unfortunately this happened on the street. So what do you do about that? It's really tricky. There's lots of complex angles to it. So I've just arrived here at the location where Aya's body was found after she got off the tram stop, which you can see right behind me. Just got here, it was about 20 past 7. It's Friday the 25th of January, so it's about, I don't know, it's just over a week since this unfortunate event. And I arrived and there was a few police here and some council workers, and they were just clearing up all the flowers that have been left by the general public in their outpouring of support for the family. Aya's been now laid to rest over in her hometown over in Israel, and it's that basically, you know, that's you know, that sort of ends that part. Now the family can get on with just you know, grieving and you know, about their loss. But as her father said, he doesn't want us to forget Aya, and there's already calls for a permanent memorial to be placed here. not just by the family but by the general public, and I think that would be very fitting. It'd be interesting to see how that comes out. So just in closing in this thing, what I think is really important is that, you know, violence against women is at almost epidemic proportions, and it's just not right. We need to do better. Violence against anyone is inappropriate. Unfortunately, the simple fact of the matter is that sometimes, you know, you can be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Unfortunately, our world is a dangerous place, and we do have bad people that do bad things, but personal safety is a paramount importance to everyone, and we just need to look after each other. We need to keep an eye on each other, and I think it's very easy these days where we're all connected via the internet and we can sit at home and we connect with the world, but sometimes it's important to also look at just what's happening in your street, in your neighbourhood, in your community, and where it's going. Is there more that the government and the councils can do? Is there more that law enforcement can do? Probably, but also I think as a society we can do more. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of fitting memorial they do place here. But I think that the real positive out of this, if you can draw a positive, obviously it's absolutely, you know, it's incredibly sad what happened, but I think the positive is the fact that Melbourne public was able to show the family that this is not what Melbourne's about. We're about more than that. We're better than that. We're here to actually support people, and I think this demonstrates it quite clearly.
Can remember Aya, don't forget Aya, and don't forget smile Aya.